Well, hi, and welcome to the $1 Million Message. This is future Executive Senior Sales Director Jordan Eicher calling in with your Wednesday wisdom from Charlotte, North Carolina. So some of you have been following along my personal journey on Instagram about this back injury that I got on Valentine's Day, like the worst Valentine's Day ever. And it was very unromantic. I felt like an old lady. I threw my back out. I couldn't walk. My husband had to pick me up and put me on the potty. I mean, the whole 9 yards. So very unromantic Valentine's Day, and in some ways also the most romantic. Like, it was so sweet how he was taking care of me when I could not walk. So here I am 7 weeks past that injury, and I have been on the road to recovery. And I promise this is going to have something to do with you in 2 seconds. I have gotten to the phase of my physical therapy where my therapist recommended I really start practicing yoga. Okay, now, I used to do yoga before this injury. In fact, maybe it contributed to the injury. I don't know. But I was in the habit and the practice of, or the habit of doing yoga, but I was not practicing yoga as it is supposed to be, as it was designed to be, as it was meant to be practiced, which includes mind and body practice. It's a slowness. It's a meditation. There's a foundation, a core, a system upon which you build in order to truly practice yoga. And that's not what I was doing before. I was just physically stretching, going through the poses, the postures, trying to get as deep as I could, to become as athletic as I could, to feel and look as good as I could. That is apparently not yoga. The kind of yoga my physical therapist is introducing me to, and that I've been practicing now for almost 2 weeks, is much deeper than that. And what you start with is a core. You start with the core of your posture and your strength deep, deep down inside your body, making sure you're in alignment is what the yogi keeps saying, is making sure you're in alignment, that you're symmetrical, that your body is, in balance. Before you build on that solid foundation, you have to make sure your core is aligned. Then the next phase you move into is actually considered flexibility, where you're pushing deeper into those postures once you've built them on a solid frame. And then the last one is strength, where you're just building up to become as strong of a body as a person as you can possibly be through this practice of yoga. So it's core, it's flexibility, and it's strength. Well, my goodness, I am learning so much, not just about yoga and how to appropriately practice with your mind in the right place while you're breathing, while you're in tune with your physical body, while it's all happening at the same time, which is trickier than I think most people realize. I was thinking about this, of course, as a parallel to my business, to our business, to our lives. And it reminded me, each one of these sessions that I've been going through, this 3-week yoga refresh, it reminded me that there have been 3 books, 3 concepts, 3 authors, 3 messages that have defined these values for me at different parts of my life. So let me just tell you what I mean. My core, when I was talking about your stabilization, your symmetry, your alignment, how to get strong from the get-go before you build on anything else. Obviously, the one book that changed all of that for me at a point in my life was the Bible. And I don't know if you read the Bible. I don't know if you have a Bible. And I know the Bible can be so hard to understand. Like, I even recommend you can get a children's Bible so that you can understand first, like, the messages before you try to read it as a grown-up, because I know it's hard to understand. But I love the Living Bible. It's one of those Bible translations that I can understand. And I've had it since I was like a preteen, and so I love to read the Bible. And yes, there's so much of it I don't understand at all, but there's so much of it that aligns me. It is my core strength. It's where all else is founded. It's the grounding upon which my business, my person, my life is set. And it does absolutely give me that sort of that spiritual mindfulness, the energy, the peace that passes all understanding, whatever you want to call that. I get that in the Bible. So if you've never read it, just pick it up and, like, open the book of John. It's, like, right in the middle. Like, stick your finger in the middle and open it up, and you might hit, like, Psalms. If you do, go, like, an inch further, and you find the book of John and just start reading there. Like, I think one of the worst things you can do when you pick up a Bible is start reading in the beginning. Like, if the first 3 words are in the beginning, you're reading it in the wrong place because you won't ever make it through. But start in the Gospels, in the book of John, and read about Jesus, because I really think it'll absolutely change your life. And another fun thing that I used to do when I started reading the Bible was I would go to the book of Psalms, which many of us know they're a book of poems written by King David, like David from David and Goliath. And you just pick the date on the calendar that it is and read that psalm. So today is the 10th, so you would read Psalm 10. And wait, is today the 10th? Yeah, it's the 10th. You would read Psalm 10, and then if you like it, add 30. And so, like, read Psalm 40. And then if you like that, add 30 more. Read Psalm 70. If you like that, add 30 more. Read Psalm 100. So you can just keep going like that until you run out. And they're such beautiful, inspiring poems, and I think it will settle you at your core. If you don't, you're not into poetry, you don't love the Psalms, you don't connect with them, go to the book of Proverbs. It's right there near Psalms. And what you can do is read, the proverb of the day. There are 31 proverbs, so you can read the proverb for the 10th. Read Proverbs 10. And that's a book of advice. It's like reading a fortune cookie, but way, way, way better. It gives you sage wisdom and advice for the day. So that is in my yoga practice, that's the part where you work on your core, you work on stabilization, you work on energy, you work on having a firm foundation first and foremost before you build on it. That, for me, in my life, is the Bible. That was the book that gave me that firm foundation in my spirit. And yoga is doing it for the core in my body. So the next phase is flexibility. It's flexibility, learning how to move your body in tune with how it feels and how you want it to feel. And so flexibility, for me, a book that changed my life and my business to help me become flexible as an entrepreneur and help me sort of understand what it was that my vision was really wanting, what I was really wanting to do, what I was wanting to be, who I wanted to become as a leader, was a book by Andy Stanley, who's a pastor in Atlanta area. And it's called Visioneering. It's an old book, but I'm telling you, as a 21-year-old college student, almost college graduate, with a new Mary Kay business, that book changed my flexibility. It changed my life because it allowed me to really see that you could put onto paper dreams that were only in your heart and in your head. And the book took me paragraph by paragraph through defining my vision and then helping me with a plan to execute on my vision. And that was something I desperately needed. And at that time, my vision for my Mary Kay business compared to what it has become 15 years later was very, very small. But in my mind, it was huge. And so the book Visioneering is literally the engineering of a vision. And so it helped me become flexible. It helped me start to move and to stretch and to deepen into my posturing that I had built on my core, which was what I learned in the Bible about who I was and who God says I am and where my strength comes from. So the last phase, a book that completely changed me, and in yoga we go from core to flexibility to strength, all built on the foundation. The flexibility helps lead you to strength. So you become as strong as you possibly can, building on this solid rock foundation. Then you've become flexible and learned how to move and adapt to your body's cues and what your mind says about where you are and how you need to stretch and grow. And lastly, you become strong. And one of the best books that I ever read, this was just 3 years ago, and I've read it at least once a year since then, that helped me become strong in my emotions, in my fortitude, to overcome obstacles when I didn't feel like I could keep moving forward, was called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. Townsend. And it's a book about relationships. It's a book about putting up boundaries with others and with yourself so that you don't find yourself in burnout, so that you can stay strong over the course of your Mary Kay business, over the course of your career and in your life, while you're wearing a million different hats, while you're playing so many roles. Oh my gosh, this book just changed so many things for me and helped me recognize that I could be in the driver's seat of my business. I could be in the driver's seat of my day. I could be in the driver's seat of my life. I could be in the driver's seat of my emotions, my thoughts. Oh my gosh, this book changed everything for me.
and it helped me to become strong. And when those three things got put in place for me over many years, it changed who I am, and I am loving my life so much today because of the changes made by those three books. And I revisit those books constantly. The Bible's something I read on the daily. Visioneering, I reread every couple years when I feel like I have a fresh vision and I need help building it on paper. And then Boundaries, like I said, is something that I've read several times, and it's kind of like a reference book. I go back to certain chapters when I feel myself getting all emotionally stagnant, when I feel there's misalignment, when I feel there's just crankiness and stuffiness inside of me, and I want to become refreshed, and I want to become aligned, and I want to become mindful, and I want to become clear so that I can be healthy and move forward. So 3 books, 3 changes, 3 shifts. What do you need today? Figure out, do you need core stability? Do you need a solid rock foundation in your spirit, your mind, your body? If so, get the Bible, crack it open, and figure it out. Do you need flexibility? Do you need to learn how to stretch and deepen and pivot and learn how to build your vision right now because your core is stable, but now you're not sure what to do? Get Visioneering and get it with a pen because you're going to need a highlighter and a notebook to create your vision alongside this amazing book. And lastly, do you need strength? Do you need somebody to come along and help you stand up for yourself in situations or in your life? If so, get Boundaries. And again, make sure you've got that highlighter and a notebook and maybe even a voice recorder so you can talk to yourself about the things that you learn and do the work necessary to become the best, strongest version of you and heal from the inside out. I also recommend yoga, like actually mindful yoga, where when they tell you to breathe and be in tune with your breath, you actually do it instead of just thinking about the next appointment you have and your grocery list while you're doing your downward dog. All right, you guys, I love you so much. This is some Wednesday wisdom for you from my personal life, my personal journey, where I'm at, a little bit of my past. But listen, your life is it's happening right now. It's taking place today. Get in charge of it. Get on top of it. And honestly, just remember what I always say. You are the girl for this job. God bless you, and I'll be back with you again next Wednesday. Bye.